Number 14 on my list of favorite Final Fantasy games of all time is Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. An interesting one here that was one of the more difficult ones to place for me because it's unlike everything else on this list, right? Most of these games are story driven, character driven, if not even RPGs, which the vast majority of them are, action RPGs, or even just action games. Obviously, Dirge of Cerberus was a shooter, right? But this is the only music rhythm game on here. I know there are others in the franchise. This is the only one that I played, and boy, did I play it. It is one of only 2 games in my life that I've ever platinumed, and I only bring that up because that's not typically the way that I play video games. I tend to enjoy one element or 2 more than the others, and I don't need to go seeking out elements of the game or parts of the game I wouldn't play just to get a trophy, and I didn't do that with Theatrhythm. I just wanted to play every aspect of it. I wanted to play every song. I wanted to unlock everything that there was to unlock. I wanted to get all of the DLC because the non-Final Fantasy music is great as well. I loved every aspect of this. I love the way that you could play it without a peripheral. I go back to the old Guitar Hero and Rock Band days. I went through a phase where I was super into those, but I like that you can play this with just a controller. That for me, it can be incredibly relaxing when you've got it on the lower difficulty settings and you're more or less just kind of gently conducting some of the most beautiful music ever composed for video games. And then it also represents some of the most intriguing and fun challenge that I've ever had in a video game on its higher end difficulties, where you've really got to go through complicated rhythms and note patterns and all of that kind of stuff. You can customize your experience with it, playing it just as a relaxing way to have fun with the music, or even competitively online, which I dabbled in for a little while. I just absolutely adored this game, and it is, if you love Final Fantasy music, which I obviously and very clearly do, and you like rhythm games, which again I hadn't played in quite some time, but it was in there in my heart. This really just struck a nerve with me in so many ways. I can't remember the last time I was quite as addicted to a video game as I was with Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. And so again, it's tough to know exactly where to put it on my list when compared to so many other things that offer different types of experiences, but I ended up with it here at 14th because it just was a very, very special time for me. There are a handful of things I could choose to nitpick. It's maybe got one too many versions of Battle on the Big Bridge, and as a student of the history of the music, despite the fact that there's now over 400 pieces available to play, I could still point out another couple hundred that I would have loved to seen added. That said, I really do have a hard time imagining a much more incredible and wonderful and grand celebration of the entire history of one of the most important and fantastic elements of Final Fantasy, that being the music, than what you get, certainly what I got, with Theatrhythm Final Bar Line.